Bear with me, I have a slight cold, so I might have to take a sip here every now and then. Good evening. My name is Ben Bobick, and I'm currently a senior here at Still Valley High School. I'm also the senior class president, and I participate in varsity golf, soccer, and baseball. I plan to attend Penn State University campus next year. University Park campus next year to study broadcast journalism. I'm here to address Still Valley athletics and what President Cannon's husband spoke on last week at a work session meeting, opening up all coaching positions to be filled by parent volunteers. How or why this was brought up at a work session meeting still baffles myself and some of my fellow classmates or teammates, for that matter, that are with me today in the back. I would like to start off by stating some of the positives displayed by some of our current student athletes here at Still Valley High School. I have some of the cumulative grade point averages for some of our fall sports teams here with me that I'd like to share with the board and the citizens. Our boys soccer team had a 3.3 cumulative GPA. Our girls soccer team at 3.8. Football 2.9. Cross country 3.4. Girls volleyball 3.5. And our varsity marching band cut up strong with a 3.6 cumulative GPA for the fall. Remarkable statistics by some of our students here at Still Valley. But I also have even more impressive numbers. 37 student athletes that participate in fall sports have a 4.0 GPA or higher, and 100 made the honor roll. Also, in grades 9 through 12, 80% of the students in the top 10 in their class participate in a sport. Recently, the first semester report cards were distributed, and it just so happens that no student that participates in a winter sport is ineligible to play. Ladies and gentlemen, these are astounding numbers. And before I even continue with my statement, I think these young men and women deserve a big round of applause. I myself thought it was very challenging maintaining good grades in activities that I'm involved in. Not only am I a 3-sport letterman and class president, I also participate in concert choir drama club, in which we are preparing our production of Oliver and March in student government. Balancing such activities with schoolwork really takes a toll on a student, especially for me in the fall. There were multiple times where I was going to school, leaving for a golf match. Then as I completed golfing, leaving straight from the golf match to my soccer game that evening, wherever it may have been. Despite this major workload, I still managed to qualify for the WPL Division II Championship in golf, maintain a starting position on the soccer field, and quite frankly, the most important fact of them all, I maintained a 4.21 GPA for the first quarter of the school year with all the activities I had going on. Now on to what was addressed in last week's meeting on parent volunteers coaching high school sports. When hiring a coach, yes, you obviously want to win games. I mean, who doesn't like to win? Because I've yet to meet the person that likes to lose. But in high school sports, there's a lot deeper meaning than just wins and losses. It's about what you learn on the playing field and the practice field that gives high school sports a deeper meaning. High school sports teach kids discipline, how to be and stay committed to something and not quit. They encourage you to give your best every time, no matter what. If you're winning, tied, or losing, always give your best. They help increase concentration and focus on certain things by challenging them. Sports also boost confidence and leadership and team skills, and truly helps students work with one another and connect on a whole other level than just in the classroom. On a bigger scale, they help achieve social integration and get kids working with other kids, helping one another to make them better each day, no matter how bad or good they may be. I made all my closest friends from participating in sports over the years. So as you can see, it's not just about wins and losses at the high school level. Still Valley School District is not a multi-billion-dollar sports franchise looking to bring in a coach and pay him a luxury salary to win games. It's all about the bigger picture, which is the learning experience and life lessons you receive from playing a sport. Some of my fellow classmates or teammates were questioned walking out of a baseball workout last week, but yet again, President Cannon's husband, about their practice time and how long we hit, and basically criticizing how our baseball program is run. Well, I have to say this. The baseball team does more than enough to maintain progress each year by playing in the fall league, hitting the cages and lifting weights since November, and also setting up workouts weekly with former professional baseball players at a baseball facility. You then may ask, well, if you're participating in all this, if you're practicing all the time, why aren't championships being won? Well, I say this. There are 673 schools in the state of Pennsylvania that participate in baseball. 166 of them are in Class AA, in which Still Valley competes. 1 out of 166 teams will win a state championship. That's a 0.6% chance of winning a state championship. A Woodfield championship, a 3% chance. In basketball, a 2% chance. Football, 3% chance. It goes on and on. Which goes to prove it's not about the quantity, of practices, it's all about the quality of the players. We could practice all day and all night, but if we don't have what it takes for that natural talent that some schools have, then we cannot do anything about it. We also have to take into consideration we are indeed a public school district, which means we cannot recruit student athletes to come and play at our school like most of the Catholic or charter schools may do. Which proves yet again the quality over the quantity. A perfect example would be our football team. They practice just about every day since January, and they just started 2 weeks ago. They don't get out of practice until sometimes 6 or 7 o'clock. Our football team won 3 section games this past fall. And they had to win the last game of the season against South Allegheny to qualify for the last seed in the Class AA playoffs to play eventual champion Alec football. All that practice from January for 3 section wins. Our boys soccer team, on the other hand, started optional workouts in July, which were roughly 2 hours, and would practice for 1 and 1.5 hours every other day after school, and they were 1 win away from a section championship, which proves yet again the quality over quantity. Our girls basketball team in 2008-2009 had a 4-16 record. The following year, a 10-11 record, and last year, a 15-9 record and a trip to the Woodville playoffs, in which they won a playoff game, and they're also back again this year, starting off the year with a 13-3 record. And our boys soccer team in 2008-2009, the record was 4-14. In 2010, an 11-8-1 record and a trip to the playoffs, in which a game was won. And this past year, an 11-6-1 record and a return trip to the playoffs. What changed about these teams' practice schedules over the course of the years? Nothing did. The coaches remained the same, the philosophy remained the same, the practices as well. The kids just got bigger, they got better, and their quality of play overshadowed the quantity of vigorous practices. The real issue for this topic being brought up is, why in the world is this a topic of discussion at a board work session meeting? The last thing that should go on the district's mind is opening up athletic positions. Our superintendent is retiring after the school year. Maybe some discussion on who his replacement may be, and actually put some quality thought into a successor to better the district as a whole. I mean, we can't even maintain a budget, let alone open up coaching jobs for parent volunteers. Quite frankly, the biggest thing of all the district should be concerned about is getting off the corrective action 1 list for the state of Pennsylvania. For all that you do not know, for the AYP level, that's the second to last on AYP. We need to be up here. We're there. For all that don't see that. It's absolutely absurd that we're going to bring up athletics at a time where our school is near government changes, such as reconstitution, chartering, or even privatization. District should already be considering changes in the curriculum or changes in leadership, because according to these statements, we are indeed eligible for such action. More action needs to be taken on an academic standpoint than an athletic one. Let us all remember, we are a school district, not a sports franchise. We all need to work together from an academic standpoint and let the athletics be, because there are greater problems on the horizon. I would like to thank all of you for your time. And I have this quote from legendary football coach Vince Lombardi to leave you with. The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job at hand, and the determination that whether win or lose, we've applied the best of ourselves to the task at hand. I thank you again, and God bless you. Many of my, it was in like around school.
And, Mr. Bobick, Mr. Bobick, first of all, it appears that you don't have all the information with some of the inaccuate.
You're back here.
There are seats up front for those who can't hear.
Okay. In listening to you, you absolutely do not have.
I'm sorry, but that's not any better.
Put them both there. Yeah, seats up here in front. 8 and.
In listening to you, Ben, it's obvious that you don't have all the information as far as how the school board meetings are handled. First of all, there's 2 meetings a month that are public meetings. is the person gets on the agenda and they say exactly what they want us to speak of. I don't know where you got the information, but I can provide to you what was read at the time he spoke, and there was no mention, at least I didn't hear it, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Board, we didn't speak of opening jobs to bring volunteers in.
I understand that, but I understand that.
Excuse me,
It
no,
was- yeah.
excuse me, I listened to you and I didn't say a word.
I'm sorry.
So I'm going to tell you, number one, that's wrong. It is not that. And this board has the opportunity at any time to open any coaching position that they wish. That is a board policy. That is an option. And part of the agenda, unfortunately, Ben, you say, we shouldn't be worrying about athletics. Yes, it is part of our agenda every single month. We have co-curricular. And let me tell you, at Mrs. Ballas' education meeting, I'm going to tell you, you, all your friends, all your athletes, and every parent and everybody in this town was invited. It was public, it was properly advertised. 3 board members, 2 principals, and the director and the superintendent.
Sorry, I have
So you say that there's more important things. Where was everybody? Where were you, Ben? Are you concerned with the school you're graduating from as far as the education of where we're going? I'm not yelling. You guys asked me to use a microphone.
Let her talk. Let her talk.
I'm not yelling. I'm trying to make sure that everybody that chooses to stand in the back can hear me.
It's her turn to talk. Let her talk.
So please, I feel like you're grandstanding. So volunteers, that's not a consideration, nor was it applied.
I understand that.
So how many of your athletes that you mentioned actually got a scholarship from their coach? Or helped, or assistance in getting a scholarship from their particular coach in the sports that they
Ms.
play?
Ken, do you understand how many people, the percentage
I absolutely
for
know.
students that get a Division I scholarship is 4%? There's a 4% chance. That
How many
someone's gonna go on
attempts
to
were
play.
made, Ben? That's a comment. So
There's a
basically,
4% chance that you're going to go on to play college.
My daughter's coach helped her.
excuse me,
You're asking.
are you on the agenda now?
No,
People
not.
spoke last week that weren't on the agenda, and we allowed them, after we allowed a citizen to speak for 30 minutes and then entertain a conversation.
Tommy and Sue, can you address this? Because obviously, no one's giving up.
I'd like to address you, Ben. I got the impression that Mr. Cannon is married to Ben Cannon, that he was here of his own accord.
I understand.
He did leave a contact information for you to discuss anything that anyone had to comment on. But he was here, much as you are, to present his own individual thoughts.
Hey, which one?
The board did not participate in any of this.
I understand that.
Okay.
I understand that.
But the board entertained
I'm just saying.
Pardon me?
But the board entertained it.
Anyone gets to speak at a meeting.
But you guys engaged in a conversation about it. There was a long conversation, and the whole conversation centered around our athletic program and how we should open up positions, how our coaches don't do a good job. It lasted for 35 minutes, and I have most of it recorded, so maybe we should play it.
Yeah, give us a runback. I mean, because everyone doesn't come every.
Thank you for letting us know
Let us know.
that
I mean,
you were
I'm serious.
recording. You only recorded one part of that meeting.
That's
real.
No, I also recorded the part where we asked if our athletes could have their
One
PSSAs
second.
read to them.
Hey.
Not all of the
No,
struggling
that's not,
students.
that
Give
was,
us. Hey,
no, that was asked incorrectly, and Diana Borges was supposed to address that.
I apologize. Can you address that now? I apologize. I had that on my list, and I actually had the wrong paper. There was a question last week about what type of testing accommodations students could have. And the question was a little, maybe I misunderstood it, but what we have is there are accommodations that are approved by the Pennsylvania Department of Education for any child with a disability if they have an IEP or if they have a Section 504 agreement, and that would be very specific to the disability and what pieces of an assessment can be accommodated. So such as if you have a reading disability, they maybe have certain pieces read to it, or small group. They could have, if you have a visual issue, you could have where someone will transfer your notes instead of on the bubble sheet, someone does it for you. There's things like that. So depending on what the student's disability is, accommodations may be made. They're listed right in an IEP or can be put into a 504 agreement. They also have to follow the the confidentiality as well as the setup of the people who design the test. And those decisions are made individually. So they would have to, that's what the district follows for only students that would be eligible and in need of those type of accommodations, and they're determined, as I said, specifically at a child's either service plan or IEP.
Is that being done at Still Valley like other districts in our area?
Absolutely. It's outlined in the IEP. The accommodations that are possible for PSSAs are listed, and the IEP team, which is made up of the school administrator, myself, the parent, the teachers, the special ed teacher, discuss what the child needs as far as accommodations and list those specifically in the IEP. In addition, those accommodations must be ones that they